What's going on, YouTube? It's Sensei and place to be channel 20, Mr. A&D. Back to give you guys another WWE 2K22 video, and this time we are breaking down the GM mode that we found out in the second episode of the Ring Rust Report that came on today, that was hosted by the WWE 2K22's creative director Lionel Jinx and our producer Christina Delfam. So we found out a lot of stuff going on into this GM mode, and if you guys enjoy what you guys are seeing here, make sure you subscribe to NC Studios right here for more WWE 2K22 stuff, and subscribe to NC Level Up, where we're going to be playing WWE 2K22 GM mode when it comes out. So the first thing that we get into here is that we get into who all the GMs are, and there's up to 5 GMs, and you may see 4 on the screen, but there's 5 GMs. You can pick Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, or you can have a custom GM. That is right, a custom superstar can be your GM, and that means if you guys don't want any of these 4 and you guys want holla Teddy Long, and you know, do your usual tag team match, or hey, you may even be a prick and want to go John Laurinaitis.
People power.
It doesn't matter. You guys can create those guys, and of course with the new pictures that we have to upload, those images, they'll fit right in. Or you could go to community creations and have somebody who will create a John Laurinaitis or Teddy Long and then upload them right there as well. So that is a cool feature to have. Now also, each GM will have they have power cards. So each power card is something that will enhance the GM for that show. For instance, they gave a couple of examples, such as they have Adam Pearce has an instigator power up, a power card, and it says Adam Pearce has access to the exclusive power card instigator, and what that means is that it will increase levels of all active rivalries by 1. So, you know, obviously if you have a heated rivalry, stuff like that, he'll be the instigator, he'll be something that will help enhance the rivalry. Then example, Sonya Deville has a Superstars GM power card, which rises the entire roster's morale by 15 points. So for the morale for GM mode, like, you know, you got to keep your roster happy. You got to keep the superstars on your roster happy, which will make them want to stay on your show and perform and do all this stuff, instead of trying to request a trade or sit out and do things of that nature. So each will have power cards. Those are the ones that they explain. I know there's more power cards. I personally want to see, like, you know, I see Shane had coast to coast under him, and Sam McMahon had the McMahon thing going on. So I want to know more about those. They didn't really dig deep into those. We'll probably find out more about it later. But yes, those are the power cards. And of course, the available shows are Raw, Smackdown, NXT, and NXT UK. So after you pick your GM, you go, or you pick your show, you go over to the draft menu. So there is a draft coming back in the GM mode. So thank God for that one. Now, the draft, they went over and said they had certain rules to it. So each GM will start off with a budget of $2,750,000. And each GMs will take turns drafting one after another star with one player, and there will be 8 rounds of drafting. After the 8 rounds, drafting becomes optional, so that means they can either continue drafting until they're out of draft money, or they can just, you know, opt out, and then the computer will simulate your rosters. And then, so it also says that GMs can press the R3 button on PS, well, obviously PS4, Xbox Series X. Also, to get recommendations on who to draft, and also press square to get more information about the superstar. So those things are good too, because there are different classes here. They had their classes along with stamina and popularity of the superstar. So you know that a Roman Reigns is going to have a high popularity, but somebody maybe like a Tamina or somebody in that area, or Austin Theory, may not have a high popularity. Then they also got about stamina, how much they can go, how much kind of damage they can do in the ring, and how healthy they are. But there's something also that's called class. So they have different classes in there, for like Giant and Bruiser and Cruiser and Fighter and things like that. And they also stated that it's good to have different classes go up against each other, which will boost the higher when it comes to matches, and the audience will be more into it, opposed to just having just the same kind of people always fighting it out. It's different to mix things up, to see different kinds of things go at it. That's kind of like me with an old school wrestling fan. Like I'm the kind of guy, I'm a huge fan of Vader. Vader was the big man who could high fly but did not do much high flying, but only in big matches. But a Vader going up against like a smaller guy, maybe like an Austin Theory, you're kind of interested. Like Vader will squash him, but could Austin Theory find a way to get out of it? So that will help create more great things when it comes to them, the audience watching your show, and it also help you out because when you highlight a superstar on the top right of the screen, it'll say, like for instance for Tamina, it'll be there's one that says, as a rule breaker giant, Tamina would pair particularly well against Sasha Banks, a fan favorite cruiser. So they're actually kind of holding your hand. They'll be out the GMO, because like I said, GMO has been gone for a while. The last time it was in the game was SmackDown versus Raw 2008. So this one is kind of really helping your hand, holding your hand, and help you go through that. I like that. And also, when it comes to drafting, you are able to put your creative superstars in the draft, because you can add them in the draft pool, and then you can sign them as free agents, as all creative superstars will have more like a lower base rate to pay with them at. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So I can create or start my thing of like download different superstars that I want, especially if you're a fan like me, a wrestling fan, and you want to go from different companies. Maybe I want to download Moose or Community Creations along with CM Punk and Brian Danielson. It's like, okay, well, they're going to be in the free agent draft pool, so I can draft them on there. And so that stuff right there, that will be, oh, I can't wait for that. Now, with all that great stuff that was said, you do have to understand that you do have a budget. This is not universe mode, so this is going to be something you, within that budget of what you start off with, you have to be careful who you draft, because I know me, I'm the kind of guy that got to draft all the top stars. And with all the top stars and all the big names, the higher the cost is going to be, you will run out of money. And if the event that you do run out of money, you'll be stuck booking just one-on-one show or one-on-one matches or tag team matches like that, because those cost nothing to book. But when you try to book something like a cage match or a Hell in a Cell or a ladder, TLC table, things like that, it's going to cost a lot more money to book those kind of matches, opposed to just the regular one-on-one matches. So you're going to have to kind of find a way to budget yourself as you go through when it comes to the GM thing. So it's all about, along with having fun and everything, it's all about the strategy also, because with that, there are going to be times also, because you may be sitting there wondering, like, well, I want to sign some new talent that is higher up, that just maybe had Raw, like say if I have SmackDown and Raw released them, I want to probably sign them. Well, I want to go sign some new free agents that's out in the pool, or I want to sign some legends to help boost up my show. And now, if you're going to sign legends, those are really going to be expensive. Say if I want to go and sign The Rock, or if I want to go sign Stone Cold, The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, anything like that. Well, it's going to be a lot of money for those big time names, opposed to just like a lot of money for a Drew McIntyre that's become a free agent. So those are things you also going to save them, because those things are going to be changing by week as your GM mode goes on, especially if you're picking a long GM mode. So one of the things that I know that we as the fans were worried about was how many matches are we going to be able to do. So what we saw in the trailer, the hit list trailer, is correct, that those shows we can only do 3 matches up and come up about 2 promos. But when it comes to like WrestleMania, we can book up to 5 matches, an opener, a main event, and 3 matches in the middle, and a couple segments also. So WrestleMania will be the exception, probably along with other pay-per-views, because I did see them put up something for WrestleMania Backlash, and it's like, okay, well, that is going to be like a 4-match type thing. So I think the regular shows will be stuck with the 3 matches, but when it comes to WrestleMania, so that we can book more matches. Obviously, we're probably going to have more matches probably in the future, stuff like that. But right, just to get our feet wet back on GMO, 3 matches, especially when you can't sign everybody that's a big name, will be good to start out with. So also, when it comes to saving money, you have the show logistics part, where when it comes to show logistics, we got different places where we can book the shows in places like high school arenas, and you got to pick the road crew and the special effects and the advertisement. They took a deep dive in the general manager mode. So there are different arenas that you guys can pick that as your shows get more popular, as you're gaining more money, as you're getting more fan base, you can go and buy these different arenas and things like that. Also off the back, depending on what your budget is. And your road crew, obviously if you probably pick the road crew, it'll probably be enhancing the quality and production of your show and things like that, along with the basic lighting and things like that. So you do have to make sure that you are finding ways to to budget out the money, and of course, because we can't just go in and start with the big arena like Raw and have all this money and sign 8 big name superstars. You got to work at it a little bit. And when you do run a show in big arenas, it'll give you different bonuses and different objectives, so you can get more rewards going towards your GM. Then we got to go over to the Power Card Store. The Power Card Store, what they explained, was something that you can use to help boost your show ratings, your morale, or stamina for the superstars. And there are different kind of power cards, and one of them is kind of like a health spa, or injury rehab type thing, where it can, if a superstar is injured or they've been going at it for like a Hell in a Cell one week and a ladder match the next week, and then a table match the next week, it's like, wow, they taking a lot of damage on their body, and they got a rehab type stuff like that. So you're able to buy those things also. And when you do the different commissioner goals, those things will help you get more stuff to go to the Power Card Store. So the commissioner in the game is Triple H. Triple H is the one that you have to answer to, and he was the ones that will put in the goals. And when you look at the screen here, there's the commissioner goals, and there's certain things that you have to do to fulfill them so you can get different kind of rewards. And obviously they had the one here for an example that says commissioner goal: do not put Nia Jax in the match this week. So when it was fulfilled, it showed that it's an injury. You had an injury rehab card that was rewarded. So reduce the injury for time for one superstar for 3 weeks. Those stuff will be good. Now, it's up to you. You don't have to do the commissioner goals, but if you don't do the commissioner goals, well, then things will happen with your superstars that they can get injured, they can get tired, and the morale can be down, and then they could complain to the commissioner, complain to you, and then they could actually want to be requested a trade or be dropped from your show. So depending on what kind of stress and drama you want to go through, and what kind of a hard-ass GM you want to be, or what kind of story you're trying to tell, that's what can happen if you are ignoring what's wrong with these people. Now then, when you finally get to your match card, there are a couple options that you can do. You can play, simulate, or spectate. That's the new spectate mode, where you can watch a matchup in the form of like you'll watch on WWE TV with different camera angles and different things like that. So I thought that was very, very interesting. And there's some options like your GM will come down to the ring with you if you do a spectate, or they show footage of Raquel Gonzalez taking on Charlotte Flair in a ladder match, and you can do different kind of camera angles like you can do on WTV. And one of my favorites that they showed was the bird's eye camera angle from the top of the ladder. So I was like, okay, so it's like you're watching an actual match at home, add your own commentary stuff to it. That stuff to me would be extremely dope. So I am all for that, especially that bird's eye view of having them do that. And it looks like the ladder match controls are still the same from the previous 2K games. You got to play a little ladder match mini game to win, but having those different kind of camera angles to spectate, I don't even know if I want to play them. I mean, I'll play it for fun, but obviously, but still to stay there and watch the matchup, that would be dope. So you have the post-match stuff where it will explain to you, what went on in the matchup and then how things you can improve. We're going on with the matchup along with the breakdown screen, where you guys can look at the different show quality you had, how your card was, the kind of bonuses you had, the fan bonuses, and there's a social media thing, which this reminds me a lot of NBA 2K when you're playing in season mode or my career, whatever the case may be, and it shows how the fans are interacting with you, and may give you some tips of saying what the fans may want to see, kind of like how we do in WWE actually right now. We express them, don't mean they listen, but we express them what we want to see, who we want to be in the main event, and what superstars may have signed to other rival companies, and what to look out for. So I like the social media and the interaction between them, because that's a lot what you do in NBA. You may have a bad game and they'll tell you that you stink it up, you need to be traded, and then you go out the next day and you drop like 40 and 14, and you come back and next thing you're a star all over again. So it's kind of the things like that. Now there's things for multiplayer. You can do multiplayer GMs, which is one of the things that I know I've been saying before on post 2K breakdowns from previous years, that I would like it more if they was able to play with somebody. So obviously, me and Primetime used to do universe mode together. I think we stopped doing universe mode on 2K19. Prime just got tired of the game. I understand that, because it was the same thing over and over, but it was a lot of work to do universe mode. But I was saying, if they had a GM mode where me and him could play with each other, unfortunately, There is multiplayer, but you know, it's like with the remote control. Like, so when I say that, I mean, okay, me and my son can play because, you know, I got the PS5 in the house, or he has his PS4, and we can play like that. Or if you want to do it online and play with a friend that way, we have to go with the shared play. When it comes to share play option, or play it on the Steam. But I don't think somebody from Xbox can play with somebody on PS5, or, you know, PS5 compared to somebody PS4. I think it would have to be in the same room like old school, or it had to be via share play to play the multiplayers like that. So I mean, it's a little bittersweet. I still have it. There is a multiplayer option, but it's still kind of, you know, you can't play directly online with everybody. So one of the things was, like I said earlier, that you can put your creative superstars in the draft pool also, but they did have some kind of superstars on here, like kind of like pre-made superstars, like Silence in the match report that was going up against Edge, and it said that those will be available in the game for Enhancement Talent to basically have some jobbers to help boost up your superstar. So if you want to sit there and you want to do a whole Goldberg thing, and you want to have somebody, he come just destroying regular talent over and over again, do the Goldberg from WCW thing, or even do the Oscar from NXT thing. They just beating all these Enhancement Talents. And you gotta have somebody that's going to job out. You don't want to job out somebody that you're trying to build up on a roster that has a name. You do somebody that does not have no name. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, because I didn't even think about doing that, to be honest with you. And honestly, you know, when it comes to job out, I'm just like, okay, well, let's just put the least people that always lose in there, like Humberto Carrillo in there, and just have him job out to, you know, the bigger stars. But, you know, it's just how to protect Humberto, so put the Enhancement Talent in there. So that was a great idea. So now is the part that I am very excited about, and that is new and released superstars confirmed for the game. I knew that it was going to show, because do I like how 2K is, you know, doing the roster reveal, stuff like that this year? Absolutely not. But, and I understand, though, on the same token, that these released superstars, they can't get a lot of promotion time or anything like that because they're not with the company anymore. I do understand that, but there has been middle ground. But the way they've been doing it is, you know, these different clips, these different gameplay clips have been showing us different superstars that are confirmed for the game. I still just want this whole roster reveal, so I ain't got to keep worrying and see who's gonna make it, who's not. But we have confirmation of a lot of superstars here. So we have confirmation for Walter, who is not Gunther. It actually is Walter. And then we also have a confirmation of, when we go back to the drafting screen, of Dexter Lumis. Along with Dexter Lumis, we have a confirmation of King Nakamura, which is actually using his King gimmick opposed to just his Shinsuke Nakamura gimmick. So I was wondering why there's not a King Woods, because King Woods is the one, but Shinsuke Nakamura is the one that they're using for the King. And then there's also a confirmation of Kushida, so NXT Superstars Kushida, and a confirmation for Nia Jax, who was part of that November releases. So according to what I'm seeing in this one, that a lot of the November stars are still going to be in this game, including Keith Lee. That's the one. Limitless is what I've been looking forward to. Also, you can see in the draft order, when they had round 7, SmackDown selected Dexter Lumis, while Keith Lee was selected by Raw in round 7. So yes, that's why one of the superstars I was like, you give him his respect to put him in this game. So Keith Lee does make the cut, confirmed from the footage that we're seeing. And we're not done yet, because we also, on the next screen, we have more confirmation stars such as Lana, who is making her debut back. Too bad there's no Rusev to go with her. And then Isaiah Swerve Scott. Now, I know Hit Row's not going to make the game, okay? They already said that there was planned DLC, but they didn't get scanned on like that, so they're not going to do that. But having Swerve Scott on there, hoping he having the Hit Row song is what I'm hoping for. But seeing that confirms that he's in the game. Also, we see Otis earned for the game as well. And Mace. Mace is up there from Smackdown, I think he was at. So I'm guessing a Mason T-Bar. I'm not sure about the whole retribution thing. I don't know if they're going to go with that gimmick in the whole game, but I do see Mace is up there as well. So okay, so shout out to Mace for making it in the game. And guys, that is basically it for the MyGM breakdown. Of course, they show a couple entrances, not too much gameplay. You saw like Charlotte's entrance, who she looks so much better. in this one than she did in the trailer that we saw, and then Brock Lesnar's kind of entrance. So you see him as like on the go by. But that's all that we have for the GMO breakdown. So post like comments down below. Are you guys excited for GMO? I'm excited for GMO coming back. I like how in depth it is also. But you know what I'm saying, because right now there's so much stuff to do. But we're not done with that yet, because I'm like GMO, but I still want to check out the My Rise. I still want to check out the the showcase. I still want to check out the My Faction. So there's going to be things to do. So I'm hoping that this does help the length of the game and help us play it more, because there's so much stuff that we can probably do, especially with how deep this GM mode is. So post any comments down below if you guys excited for it. Hit the like button if you guys enjoy my breakdown, and hit the subscribe button for more breakdowns and WWE 2K22 videos, along with subscribing over to NC Level Up for WWE 2K22 gameplay. So once again, this is NC and Place to Be. Mr. Andy, and the Nerd Coalition is out.